The scream tore through Ravenwood Heights at midnight, sharp and sudden, shattering the polished silence of manicured lawns and identical houses, and though most residents buried themselves beneath their covers, pretending not to hear, three lights flared on Atoncia Jonathan Briggs, the iron-fisted Hill President Clara Mendez, the treasurer with the sharper tongue than her pen, and Daniel Reeves, the newcomer already branded a troublemaker. Another sound followed of the crash of glass, a heavy thud, footsteps running inside the clubhouse, and in that instant, all three knew, the perfect order of Ravenwood had just cracked, and what waited in the shadows was not a prank, but the beginning of something far darker. The scream tore through Ravenwood Heights at midnight, sharp and sudden, shattering the polished silence of manicured lawns and identical houses, and though most residents buried themselves beneath their covers, pretending not to hear, three lights flared on Atoncia Jonathan Briggs, the iron-fisted Hill President Clara Mendez, the treasurer with the sharper tongue than her pen, and Daniel Reeves, the newcomer already branded a troublemaker. Another sound followed of the crash of glass, a heavy thud, footsteps running inside the clubhouse, and in that instant, all three knew, the perfect order of Ravenwood had just cracked, and what waited in the shadows was not a prank, but the beginning of something far darker. Briggs stormed out of his brick colonial in nothing but a robe, waving a flashlight like a weapon. "What kind of nonsense is this?" he barked, voice carrying down the street. "Who dares to vandalize our property at this hour?" Clara appeared moments later, phone clutched in her hand, her hair tied hastily back, eyes darting nervously toward the clubhouse. "John," she hissed, "keep your voice down up. It's coming from there, don't you hear it?" "Something's wrong." Daniel stepped out more leisurely, hands shoved in his pockets, smirk tugging at the corner of his mouth. "Funny," he muttered, "I thought Ravenwood Heights was supposed to be the safest neighborhood in the county. Guess the sales pitch left that part out." Briggs shot him a glare sharp enough to cut glass. "This isn't a joke, Reeves. Go back inside before you get in over your head." Daniel's smirk widened. "Over my head? I just moved here and already learned two things at one. You run this hold like a king with a crown. Two, every kingdom hides rot beneath its gold, so forgive me if I don't take your word that this is under control." Clara stepped between them, voice trembling. "Stop it, both of you," someone screamed. "Something broke. We need to see what's happening before we." Her sentence cut off as the clubhouse door slammed against the wall, creaking on one broken hinge. The three of them froze. The entry hall gaped in darkness, the faint light from a single chandelier bulb flickering like a dying heartbeat. Inside, chairs were overturned, papers scattered across the hardwood floor, and at the center of it all lay a man sprawled face down, blood seeping beneath his head. "Dear God," the broken bar, Claire whispered, her hand flying to her mouth. Briggs lowered his flashlight slowly, his voice rough with disbelief. "Collins." The name landed heavy in the silence. Arthur Collins, the House Secretary, the man who kept minutes of every meeting, the man who knew every whisper of gossip in Ravenwood Heights. Now lifeless, Daniel crouched by the body, eyes scanning with sharp focus, his tone quiet but steady. No broken locks, no signs of forced entry. Glass shattered from the inside. Whoever did these, a broken bar was already here. Claire's voice cracked. "John, we need to call the police now." "No." Briggs cut her off, snapping like a whip. "Think for 1 second, Claire. If the police storm this place, if the press gets wind of a murder in Ravenwood Heights, what do you think happens? Property values plummet. Investors back out. Years of work ruined." Daniel rose, his expression hard. "So you'd rather bury a body than admit your perfect little kingdom has cracks?" Briggs squared his shoulders. "I'd rather protect the community from chaos. We handle this internally until we know more." The tension between them hummed like a live wire. Claire's eyes filled with panic as she whispered, "Both of you listen, and we're not alone." From the back hallway came the creak of a door, deliberate, steady. Then a voice, smooth, calm, and chillingly amused, slipped into the room. "How very quick you are. I wondered how long it would take before you came running." The three spun around, Briggs's flashlight beam cutting through the gloom to reveal a figure stepping forward. Masked, gloved, a bloody letter opener whirling between two fingers as though it were nothing more than a toy. "Welcome," the stranger said, bowing slightly. "Tonight, Ravenwood reveals its true face. One of you is a killer, and by the end of this game, all of you will learn just how fragile your perfect little world really is. Silence gripped the hall, broken only by Clara's trembling breath and the faint hum of the flickering bulb above. Daniel's jaw tightened as he took one step forward. "Who the hell are you?" The figure tilted their head, voice smooth as silk. "Me? Call me the witness. The one who sees what you try so hard to hide." Briggs growled. Enough theatrics to put down the weapon and explain yourself before the figure cut him off with a low laugh, dark and deliberate. "Before you what?" "President Briggs threatened me with a fine. Quote bylaws at me until I surrender. Number. You're not in control tonight. None of you are. And if you want to survive until dawn, you'll play by my rules." The masked figure stepped closer, the glint of the letter opener catching the flickering light, casting tiny shards of reflection across the walls like ominous stars. Clara instinctively took a step back, bumping into Daniel, who muttered, "Careful, or we all become part of the DA copyright corps." Briggs clenched his fists, veins visible at his temples. "Enough games. Tell me what you want." Or the stranger raised a gloved hand, cutting him off mid-threat. "Silence," they said, the single word wrapping around the room like a noose. "I want to see the truth of Ravenwood Heights, and I want it from you." Secrets, lies, betrayals, a broken bar tonight. All of it comes out. Fail, and someone else will join your secretary in the floorboards. Daniel's eyes narrowed. "You think you can just waltz in here and play God? You don't know what you're dealing with." "Oh," the stranger replied, tilting their head, "I know exactly what I'm dealing with. I've watched, listened, waited. Every board meeting, every whispered conversation over garden fences, every dispute over landscaping fees. I've seen it all. And tonight, it matters." Clara's breath came fast. "Jonathan a broken bar, Danielle a broken bar. What do we do if we try to run, or call the police?" She didn't finish. The masked figure's gaze, sharp and unblinking, seemed to penetrate the very air, freezing her words. Briggs swallowed, trying to mask fear with authority. We negotiate." Calmly. "No sudden moves." Daniel let out a short, mirthless laugh. "Negotiate with someone who just threatened us with murder? Really, John? That's your brilliant strategy?" The stranger moved again, deliberate, circling the trio like a predator. "I enjoy your debates. They reveal so much about each of you." "President Briggs, your pride, your obsession with order, it's delicious." "Treasurer Mendez, the way you manage information, a broken bar selective, guarded to broken bar perfect." "And Daniel Reeves, the newcomer, broken bar, your arrogance masks a curiosity that borders on recklessness." "Tonight, I test all of you." Clara's eyes darted toward the hallway leading deeper into the clubhouse. "What do you want us to do?" The masked figure stopped, listening to her voice like a tune. "Truthfully, I want you to confess what you've buried. Admit the things you've hidden from one another. Only then can you survive until dawn." Briggs's jaw tightened. "Confess what, exactly?" "We haven't done anything criminal." "Oh, you have," the figure interrupted, voice low and sharp. "Not everyone is guilty of murder, but all of you are guilty of something. And tonight, I'll make you see it." "The first test begins now." Suddenly, the lights flickered violently and went out entirely, plunging the room into darkness. Clara gasped, gripping Daniel's arm. "This is insane." "We can't." A metallic click sounded near the chandelier, followed by a soft, mocking voice. "Oh, but you can, dear treasurer. You must step forward if you wish to claim safety." "Step wrong," and the letter opener scrapped lightly across the floor, a whispering threat that made every hair on Jonathan's neck rise. Daniel's hand went instinctively to his coat pocket, where he kept a small pocket knife. "John a broken bar, Clary broken bar. I don't like this, but we have to be ready for anything." Briggs swallowed, nodding stiffly. "Agreed. We stick together. No sudden moves." The masked figure suddenly clapped once, sharp and cutting. "Excellent. Now, the first question. Who here manipulated the neighborhood surveillance footage last month to cover broken bar, a certain incident?" The words hung like smoke. Claire froze. Danielle raised an eyebrow. Briggs's face went pale. "Yeah, what are you talking about?" "Don't play innocent, Mr. President," the figure said. "I know about the footage in the East Gate cameras, the one where someone slipped into the Miller residence without authorization. You doctored the timestamps. Yes, to protect a broken bar someone. Briggs's voice trembled slightly. That was a broken bar procedural. For safety. Yeah, it was to avoid panic. Lies, the figure whispered, stepping closer, the soft scrap of leather on hardwood echoing through the dark hall. Lies are fragile, President, breakable. Tonight. Click crack, Claire whispered to Daniel, voice shaking. This isn't Cindy a broken bar, but if he's armed beyond that letter opener? Daniel's grip tightened around his knife, though he didn't step forward. Doesn't matter, we play along. We gather information. One wrong word and a sharp laugh cut him off. Low and cruel. One wrong word, indeed. And then, well, a broken bar, a new headline will grace the local paper. A Ravenwood Heights secrets uncovered, residents dead. The trio exchanged glances. Fear, uncertainty, and a spark of defiance mingled in their eyes. They were trapped. The masked figure's footsteps echoed again, moving backward toward the center of the room. Now, they said softly, choose who will confess first. And remember, a broken bar honesty may be your only shield. Silence filled the hall for several long, tense seconds. Then Claire, trembling, whispered, yeah, broken bar, I suppose I'll go first. A broken bar. The masked figure tilted their head. Very well, a broken bar, let us begin. Claire's hands shook as she took a hesitant step forward, the faint light from the flickering chandelier catching on her trembling fingers. Yeah, broken bar, I suppose I'll go first, she whispered, her voice barely audible over the echo of the masked figure's laughter. Very well, the figure said, voice smooth and cold. Speak, Treasurer Mendez. Reveal the truth you have buried. Claire drew a deep breath, forcing herself to meet the glinting eyes behind the mask. Last month a broken bar approved a permit for the Miller property renovation, but I knew it violated zoning codes. I did it because a broken bar, her voice cracked. A broken bar. I wanted to protect my investment. I own property nearby, and if I hadn't a broken bar I would have lost thousands. Silence followed, thick and suffocating. Daniel's jaw tightened, and even Briggs looked uncomfortable, his fingers drumming nervously against the table. The masked figure tilted their head, considering her. A small broken bar, yet one that affects more than you imagine. Very good, Claire. Honesty will keep you alive. A broken bar for now. Claire swallowed hard, her chest heaving. Yeah, broken bar. Yeah, I understand. The masked figure turned to Briggs. President Briggs, your turn. Tell me, how many rules have you bent? How many complaints buried to maintain the illusion of perfection? Briggs straightened, trying to mask his fear with authority, but Daniel cut in. You don't get to lecture him yet. This isn't just about bending rules, it's about someone's life on the line. The masked figure waved a gloved hand at Daniel, silencing him. Ah, the newcomer speaks. Curiosity and arrogance. Dangerous combination. You will speak soon, Reeves. But first, Briggs. Briggs clenched his fists. Yeah, broken bar. I've withheld complaints. I've ignored some reports of vandalism. A broken bar, minor theft. A broken bar to prevent panic, to maintain the order of Ravenwood Heights. I thought I was protecting the community. A broken bar. I see now. A broken bar. I was protecting myself. The masked figure's head tilted slightly, as though nodding in approval. Exactly. Protection. A broken bar. Fear. A broken bar. Pride. A broken bar. These are the chains that bind you all. Now, Daniel Reeves, do you have the courage to speak, or will you hide behind defiance until your time is up? Daniel's smirk returned, but it was forced, brittle. Fine, he said, voice low. I snooped. I read emails, messages. A broken bar. Things that weren't mine. I thought I was uncovering corruption. Maybe I was right, but I violated privacy, trust. A broken bar, and maybe I've made enemies. The masked figure's gloved fingers tapped the letter opener lightly against their palm. Excellent. Honesty. Now the game accelerates. A sudden crash from the hallway made all three flinch. The masked figure's laugh was low, chilling. Ah, distractions. Perfect. Briggs whispered, we should call it. No, Daniel cut in sharply. Not until we understand what he wants. One wrong move, we're finished. Claire nodded, still trembling. "Boat a broken bar, what's next?" The figure circled them slowly, voiced like a silk blade. "Next a broken bar is a test, a confrontation. You will face each other. Secrets will spill, lies will be exposed, and some in a broken bar may not survive." Briggs's face went pale. "You can't a broken bar, you don't get to decide who lives or dies." "Oh, but I do," the masked figure interrupted, stepping closer. "And tonight, Ravenwood learns that perfection is an illusion, that civility hides darkness. Let the first challenge begin." Suddenly, the lights flickered violently and went out, plunging the clubhouse into darkness. Claire gasped. Daniel's hand went to the knife in his coat pocket, and Briggs stepped protectively in front of the others. "Where broken bar, where are you?" Daniel demanded, voice cutting through the blackness. A whisper drifted from the shadows, teasing and cruel. "Closer than you think. One misstep, one false word, and the game ends." A faint metallic scrap echoed across the floor. Claire whispered, "What a broken bar, what do we do? How do we fight someone we can't see?" The masked figure laughed, low and deliberate. "Fight? No, a broken bar, not yet. First, you face yourselves. You will reveal your darkest secret about one another. Only then will the next stage of the game unfold." Daniel swallowed, heart pounding. "You're insane. This ice a broken bar, this is twisted." "Twisted," the figure agreed, voice soft as death. "And yet a broken bar entirely truthful. Humanity is always most revealing under pressure. Now a broken bar start." Briggs's voice cracked as he spoke first, aimed at Daniel. "You a broken bar, you've been snooping since the day you moved in. You think you're clever, but every board meeting, every email a broken bar, I know what you've read." Daniel's smirk faltered. "I admit I'd a broken bar, but you'd have done the same if you were honest with yourself." Claire trembled, speaking next. "Jonathan, a broken bar, I've suspected you a broken bar of bending rules, hiding complaints, a broken bar of valuing order over people." The figure's presence seemed to grow, suffocating, closing in around them. "Yes," it whispered, the first layer of fear a broken bar peeled away. "Now you see a broken bar, and now you feel." A sudden crash from the back room made all three spin. The masked figure's shadow flickered across the wall, elongated and mocking. "And now a broken bar, the first fight begins." Suddenly, a loud crash echoed from the far end of the clubhouse, making Claire stumble backward, and Daniel instinctively lunged toward her, shoving her behind him as the masked figure's shadow flickered across the walls, long and jagged, like some nightmare stalking through reality. "Enough whispering," the figure hissed, voice dripping with malice. "Now you move. Now you fight. Prove you're not entirely useless." Briggs gritted his teeth and lunged toward the figure, fist swinging blindly, only to have the masked intruder sidestep with unnerving precision. The sound of fist meeting air was replaced by a low, mocking laugh. "Pathetic," the figure said softly, scraping the letter opener against the floor once, twice. Daniel drew his knife, hard hammering, trying to gauge the angle, but the intruder was everywhere at once, moving in the shadows, out of sight, the faint gleam of metal the only warning. Claire screamed, ducking behind a toppled chair, whispering, "This is insane. We're not trained for this." Briggs grunted, taking a defensive stance, eyes scanning every shadow. "Stay close, Claire. Don't let him separate us." Daniel edged closer to Briggs, muttering under his breath, "This isn't just about rules anymore. A broken bar, he's testing USA broken bar, seeing how far fear can push people." Another crash, this time from the chandelier above him, made all three flinch. Pieces of broken glass rained down, scattering across the floor. Claire yelped as a shard bounced near her foot. "Watch it," Daniel barked, grabbing her arm. The masked figure's voice floated from above, echoing eerily in the vast hall. "Good. Fear sharpens instincts. Let it guide you, a broken bar, or let it destroy you." Briggs lunged again, catching the glint of the letter opener just in time, slashing it away. Sparks of panic crossed his face. "He's playing with us," Daniel shouted, voice taut with tension. "We need a plan, or we're done." Claire, trembling, pointed toward the back hallway. "The doors. Maybe if we barricade ourselves as a broken bar we can." Before she could finish, the intruder lunged from the shadows, striking Briggs across the chest, sending him crashing into an overturned table. Daniel reacted instantly, swinging the knife in a desperate arc, narrowly missing the figure, who ducked and rolled away with supernatural agility. "You're slow, Reeves," the figure taunted, voice cold and amused. Anticipate a broken bar, predict a broken bar fail, Claire screamed, stepping forward impulsively. Stop, leave us alone. The figure paused, tilting its masked head, as if studying her for weakness. Ah, the human heart, a brave, Nightilda Macranvy, trembling. Such delicious simplicity. Daniel glanced at Claire, panic in his eyes. Stay behind me. He backed toward the door, dragging her with him, only to find it locked. The intruder's silhouette appeared at the far end, letter opener poised like a predator's claw. No escape, the figure whispered. Not yet. First a broken bar, you fight your own fear. Briggs, groaning as he struggled to stand, wiped blood from his split lip and growled, enough games. One of us takes him down, or we all die. Daniel nodded grimly. Fine. We flank him. One distraction, one attack. Stay coordinated. Claire's hands trembled violently. Yeah, I can't. I'll slow you down. You won't. Danielle snapped. You'll survive if you stay close and follow instructions. Just a breathe. The figure lunged again, faster than Briggs could react. Danielle swung the knife, grazing the intruder's arm. A hiss of leather and metal echoed through the hall. Good, a broken bar, sharper than I expected, the figure murmured, then vanished behind a column. Briggs took advantage of the brief distraction, running toward the figure, fist swinging, but again, the masked intruder disappeared, leaving only the sound of shifting footsteps. Claire stumbled backward, nearly falling over the scattered papers and broken chairs. We can't fight someone we can't see, she yelled, panic-stricken. Daniel grabbed a heavy chair, spinning it to block a corner. Then we force him to show himself. The intruder's voice floated from above once more. Very clever broken bar, but still predictable. Do you see yet how fragile your control really is? Another violent swing, another dodge. Daniel landed hard against the wall, feeling the splinter of wood bite his palm. Briggs charged blindly, crashing into the table, scattering chairs everywhere. The room was chaos incarnate, shadows dancing with shards of broken glass, screams, and the sharp scrap of metal against wood. Claire's voice trembled as she cried, "Somebody, a broken bar, someone stop this." The intruder's laugh was soft, almost intimate, filling the corners of the room. Stop? No, my dear, a broken bar you will endure. Only when you confront what you buried in yourselves will the game move forward. Fight, fear, confess, a broken bar, survive. Daniel's chest heaved, sweat dripping down his forehead. We need a plan. Now. Focus. Briggs, cover me. Claire, stay low. Briggs nodded, bloodied but determined. We end this tonight, a broken bar, or we die trying. The masked figure stepped forward briefly, letting the light catch the gleam of the letter opener, then vanished again into darkness. Soon, it whispered, your masks fall away, a broken bar, and Ravenwood sees what lies beneath. The chaos of the clubhouse was deafening, the clash of overturned chairs, shattered glass, and ragged breaths blending into a symphony of panic. Claire pressed herself against the wall, trembling, while Daniel wiped sweat from his brow, eyes scanning every shadow. We can't keep running, he hissed, teeth clenched. We need to corner him, force him to reveal himself. Briggs groaned, blood streaking his forehead, but nodded. Agreed. We'll lure him toward the center, trap him together. The masked figure's laughter drifted from the shadows, soft, deliberate, echoing in every corner of the hall. Clever broken bar, but still not Matilda Macranvy. You forget one thing. I know every inch of this place, every hiding spot, every weakness. Claire whimpered. We'll never beat him, he's everywhere at once. Daniel grabbed the chair, spinning it like a battering ram, swinging toward the corner from which the last movement had appeared. The intruder had vanished again. Always a step ahead, Daniel muttered. It's like he's reading our minds. Suddenly, a metallic click sounded behind them. Claire screamed as the chandelier swayed violently, sending splinters of glass raining down. Daniel shielded her just in time. Stay down, he shouted. Briggs, bleeding and bruised, scrambled forward, slamming a table toward the intruder's last shadow. There was a muffled thud, and the masked figure's voice drifted from above, amused. Oh, so vigorous. You surprise me, broken bar, and yet still predictable. Daniel gritted his teeth, frustration turning to rage. We need to stop talking and act together. Briggs nodded, voice grim. Right. On three. Only a broken bar, ta a broken bar. Three. They lunged in unison, converging on the corner where the intruder had appeared seconds before. Nothing. The figure had vanished again. Predictable, the voice whispered, this time from directly behind them. Daniel spun, knife raised. The masked intruder loomed close, then darted away in a blur, striking Briggs's side with the hilt of the letter opener. Briggs yelped, staggering, and Daniel slashed, grazing the intruder's arm. A hiss of irritation echoed as the figure withdrew, moving toward the back hallway. Not bad, the figure murmured, voice low and deliberate. But courage alone will not save you. Claire, shaking violently, spoke through chattering teeth. Has a broken bar. He's toying with us. How do we even know what he wants? Daniel glanced at her, grim. Control. He wants us scared, broken, confessing everything we've tried to hide. He's not just here for a fight, he's here to strip us bare. Briggs coughed, wiping blood from his mouth. Then we play his gamia, but on our terms. We can't keep reacting. We have to think 2 steps ahead. The masked figure's shadow stretched across the hallway, voice echoing from above. Strategy. Admirably broken bar but futile. Watch closely, for the first secret shall be revealed. With the sudden, fluid motion, the figure struck the far wall, sending a section of plaster crumbling. Beneath it, a hidden compartment sprang open, and out tumbled a stack of documents, letters, financial statements, and photographs, all marked with the house seal. Claire's eyes widened. Oh my god, a broken bar. Thessie broken bar. These are the records. A broken bar. The hidden transactions. Danielle stepped forward, scanning quickly. Payments, bribes, finesse. A broken bar. Some of those go back years. This isn't just vandalism, he's exposing us. Briggs swore under his breath. Some of Tessie broken bar. These implicate me. I thought I buried these perfectly. A broken bar. The masked figure's laugh rippled through the room. Yes, a broken bar. Dig into your own dirt, and the truth will sting. Claire gasped as she pulled out one envelope, revealing a letter detailing an under-the-table payment to silence complaints about the landscaping contractor. Jonathan, a broken bar. The size. A broken bar. This is yours. Briggs's hands clenched, jaw tight. Yes, a broken bar. A broken bar. I thought it would never come to light. Daniel's eyes darted to the intruder, who now stood partially illuminated, one arm extended, letter opener glinting in the weak light. And this, the figure said softly, is just the beginning. Now, fight not only with strength, a broken bar, but with truth. Reveal the skeletons you've hidden, or you will all fall. Claire's hands shook, eyes darting between Daniel and Briggs. What, a broken bar? What do we do? Do we confess? Daniel nodded, teeth clenched. We have to. It's him against our secrets now. If we try to hide, he'll pick us apart one by one. Briggs swallowed hard, voice strained. Finally, a broken bar. I admit it. I manipulated records, withheld complaints, and falsified inspections. A broken bar, all to maintain the illusion of perfection. That's the truth. The masked figure tilted their head, approving. President Briggs, a broken bar. Honesty tastes bitter, doesn't it? Now, Treasurer Mendes, a broken bar. Your turn. Claire swallowed hard, voice barely above a whisper. A broken bar. A broken bar. I misused funds from the whole accounts. A broken bar, partially to cover repairs to my own property. A broken bar, and partially because I feared losing my standing. That's the truth. Daniel's hand tightened around his knife, heart pounding, eyes flicking to the figure. And me? He said quietly. A broken bar. I've speed. A broken bar. I've read emails, correspondence. A broken bar. Trying to uncover what I thought were misdeeds. I crossed boundaries. I admit it. Silence filled the hall. The masked figure's voice broke through, soft, deliberate. Well, a broken bar. Now you've opened yourselves. Let the real game begin. The masked figure's presence loomed over them like a storm cloud, and though the trio stood together, fear had begun to gnaw at their resolve. Claire's hands shook uncontrollably, and Daniel's jaw was tight, knuckles whitening on the knife handle. Briggs's chest heaved, the sting of his earlier injuries radiating with every heartbeat. Enough. The figure hissed, voice slicing through the tension like a blade. You've confessed. Yes, a broken bar, but confession is not salvation. Now, you act or you fall. Daniel gritted his teeth. Act? We've tried every move. You're faster, stronger, smarter. Broken bar. What are we supposed to do? The intruder tilted their head, steps deliberate. You will fight your own shadows. You will test your own courage, and you will decide who among you deserves to survive this night. Briggs swore, raising a fist. "We're not playing your sick games anymore." "Oh, but you